Here are a couple of real-world math problems that have to deal with unit rate. So what we're looking at for these is we're going to use our unit rate to go on and solve a different part of the problem. So the first one says that Randy cycles 1,500 meters in 5 minutes. So they want to know what does he cycle per minute. So if I know that it's 1,500 meters in 5 minutes, and I'm trying to get it down to a unit rate of 1 minute, all I know here is that I have to divide this by 5 to get down to 1 minute. So if I divide the meters also by 5, it gets me down to 300 meters. So my unit rate is 300 meters per 1 minute. And then for part B, I have to actually use that. It says at that rate, using this rate here, how much for 9 minutes? So if I know it's 300 meters per 1 minute, then how many meters per 9 minutes? So here I divided. Now I'm going to multiply by 9 because I want to make an appropriate change. So if I multiply this by 9, I get 2,700 meters over the course of 9 minutes. Here's a problem with 2 parts to it. Why don't you pause it, try it, and let's see how it goes. Okay, so the photocopy machine can print 240 copies in 3 minutes. But they want to know per minute, so I need to get it down to a single minute. And I know the relationship between 3 minutes and 1 minute is 3 if I divide it by 3. If I do the same to the top, I found out that it's 80 cups in 1 minute. That is the unit rate. For the next part, they say, well, how much for 15 minutes? Well, if it's 80 cups per 1 minute, I need to find out how many per 15 minutes. So I see that this is times 15. So if I do the same thing here, and I use my calculator, I get 1,200 cups in 15 minutes. These can be a little bit more challenging. You really have to keep track of your time. So it says the table shows the fees Charlie charges for babysitting. So his first hour costs $4, and then every half hour after that is $1.50. So I would organize this. They want to know if it's from 5 to 10 p.m., how much did he charge for babysitting? So here's what I see. I know that from 5 to 6 o'clock is going to be an hour, and 6 to 7 o'clock is another hour, and 7 to 8, and 8 to 9, and then 9 to 10. So I know that first hour is $4. So he makes that in the first hour. And then the next hour, well, he charges $1.50 per half hour, so that's $3 for a full hour. So here's a full hour, here's a full hour, here's a full hour, and here's a full hour. This whole lot is 3 times 4, which is $12 for this chunk of time. But I also have this 4 that I started with. So it's $4 for the first hour plus 12 for the next 4 hours. It's going to be a total of $16 for that full time. Try this one. Just make sure you keep track of your time. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to figure out how much time I'm dealing with. Looks like I'm going from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I'm going from 7 to 8, and 8 to 9, and 9 to 10, and 10 to 11, and 11 to 12, and then 12 to 1, and 1 to 2. So these are all chunks of time that I'm going to be using to solve my problem. So the first hour is $5. So this 7 to 8 time, there's $5. And then 8 to 9, it says for every half hour, it's $3. So every hour must be 6. So here's an hour, 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 and here's an hour. So what I have is my first hour of 5, and then I have 6 more times. So I have 5 plus the 36, which is 41 total dollars. If I look at this one, I'm trying to find the best price. So it says that Kate wants to buy a certain fabric to make curtains. She's deciding whether to buy from store A or store B. Store A sells $10.50 for 3 yards, and store B, they sell 2 yards, but it's $7.50. What we want to know is what the best price is. So if I know store A, you spend $10.50 for 3 yards, and store B, you spend $7.50 for 2 yards. As long as I can get them down to a single yard, it makes it much easier to compare them. So what I see here is that this is a change of 3. And if I take this and divide it by 3, I'd probably use a calculator. It ends up being $3.50 per yard. If I do the same with B, I divide the top and bottom by 2. And if I divide $7.50 by 2, it ends up being $3.75 for a single yard. I see that the better price, the cheaper one, is A. It looks like it's 25 cents cheaper per yard. Why don't you pause it and try this one? See which one is the better buy. Okay, printer A can make 450 pages of printing in 3 minutes. And printer B can print 625 pages in 5 minutes. And I want to find out who prints more per minute. Which one's printing faster? So if I divide this by 3 and I divide this by 3, this printer A prints 150 pages in a minute. And if I divide this by 5 and I divide this by 5, this printer prints 125 pages in a minute. This one is printing faster. It's giving me more pages in a minute. So this one is the faster printer.